Hey you guys, so it's been a hot biscuit since I've connected with you guys on YouTube because I still answer you guys' emails and stuff and talk to you guys through various outlets. But I've been, I'm sure many of you have noticed that I've been MIA for the past month or so, and I feel like it would be weird if I just went back to my normal schedule without talking about, just talking about what's happened because I feel like that's just kind of like the theme of my channel is just to being open and just like talking about the things that the real things. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like my life is perfect and like perfect state of mind all the time and stuff, right? That's just, I'm not trying to set up these unrealistic standards. And so, um, where do I even start? Y'all, I don't know if it's been the same for y'all, but for me, this 2020 has been so draining. Like, in this past 2 months, it feels like I've experienced enough stress for the whole year already. And it's just like, I'm not even gonna complain because everything's starting to really shift in like such a beautiful way. I'm like so excited for how things are like coming into fruition now. But yeah. So February, I was just completely gone. And well, it still is February, but for a lot of February, I've been gone. And I had all these plans for different videos I wanted to do. I think I even say in my last video that I had several lined up. And so let me just explain everything, right? This will all make sense once it comes together. Um, as some of you guys know, I've been seeing a therapist for the past 2 or 3 months now, and I've had to just recently, less than a week ago, I had my closing session with him, and I closed off our sessions, stopped therapy, not because I didn't get value from it. I was getting a lot of value from it actually, and I enjoyed um, working with him so much, and but just like with life, y'all, so many different things are just happening in my life that's just like I'm not even gonna try to get into that, right? But basically, yeah, I've had to like close off therapy, and it's crazy, guys, because it's like I went to therapy initially to like work on my vulnerability issues because I know I have such deep rooted vulnerability issues, and there comes a certain point where, as self aware as I am, it's very hard for me to kind of like figure out like a plan to stop it or to fix this, right? And so being able to just talk to another human being who's just not involved in my life at all, it just helps so much. And part of like the therapy process is like being able to connect with them. Like ideally, your therapist relationship is how you would want to treat relationships in the real world, right? Friendships, actual romantic relationships, and stuff. And I took that seriously, very seriously, probably too seriously. And like, but there's still like this level, even when I signed up for therapy, I knew it was coming to a finality. And it's such a weird thing for me, who already struggles with being vulnerable and opening up to people, to willingly pay somebody to get close to me. And then, whether it happened in 3 months like it did now, where I have to close off therapy, at least for now, or 2, 3 years from now, it's a relationship that is, you're agreeing to be finite and you're paying for it to be finite, right? Because it's like you can't maintain a relationship with the therapist outside of it, or at least that's like the general rule of thumb. I personally feel like it should be like individualistic, just because it's like I feel like it makes sense as to why you don't want to have a friendship with your therapist, but at the same time, I feel like if both parties have good boundaries and like just know how to connect with one another without it being about business or work, that it should work out. But because it sucks, because it's like now that I closed off this sessions with him, it's like I'm going through like this mourning period kind of, because it's like I was so vulnerable with him and told him so many things I've never told anybody, um, and really for the first time in 24 years, and I'm 24, I'm old, but in 24 years, it's the first time I truly felt seen, heard, normal. um, yeah, and it's like the first time of where I was able to be vulnerable and not experience something negative as the aftermath. And so having to let that go, because not for my own want of it, but because of outside things, like it's crappy, right? And so like I kind of ended up, I don't want to say depression, but it's still like, it's just going through, like I'm just having intense emotions, right? And yeah, that's kind of like what brings me to my point now is like one of the many things I've learned from therapy about myself is how, because I always have said like, oh, like I'm a confident person, I'm very self-assured, I have a high regard for myself, a high self-worth, I know my value, right? Like I won't allow someone to disrespect me or talk down to me, because it's just like I know what I'm worth on some level. I would even argue that I don't fully own who I am, but for a good amount, like I demand respect, right? To be treated with respect because I deserve it, just like everybody does. But there's comes like that certain point where it is like I am insecure, and I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. It's just like while I'm like really confident on one hand and really self-assured, there's this level of insecurity that I never could like make the connection to, you know, with, because like I have always have had wonderful people in my life for the time that they were there. Even now I have like wonderful people in my life, and while it's a work in progress, I'm progressively getting better. It wasn't until now that I'm able to be vulnerable, and it's only to a therapist, right? It's still hard for me to be vulnerable, truly vulnerable, and be open with myself. Not that I'm not open with myself now, but this is like such a small percentage of like what really goes on, I guess, mentally, how like the depth of my feeling, I guess. Like I feel like a lot of my feeling is hidden and controlled by logic. I used to be a lot more emotional at one point in my life when I didn't have as much trauma. I used to be such an emotional person, and throughout the years I've just had to like make sense of everything logically and really just find a purpose for everything, so like these crappy things in my life didn't consume me. And so it's kind of been the process of like reawakening these emotions that just have been severely underdeveloped. And YouTube is the first, because I'm working so hard at being vulnerable and authentic on YouTube, more than I naturally just am, rather, for people. YouTube really brings out a lot of your insecurities. Like, one, like, your own, like, body issues and just, like, features in yourself. Because when you're having to edit yourself, you're staring at yourself at every single angle and seeing every unflattering part about yourself. So that's on, like, one level of it. On top of it, throughout the entire month of February, I overthink things. And I've wanted to do this catch-up video for over a month. And I've avoided it because I have been so afraid to, like, I was afraid as if, and I still am, like, I'm terrified of even making this video, because it's like, at one point, I'm, like, looking at it from the outside point of view, and it's just like, girl, like, you're being this, like, deep, you know, it's just, like, so, like, unnecessarily deep, but, you know, so I feel like I'm going to be looked at as weird, and on another, I feel like I'm going to disappoint people if I don't put out, like, certain content, because it's like, while I like pick a cards and talking about spiritual things, I also, like, the only reason why I have this channel is so I can connect with you guys personally. And so it's this weird dynamic that I have to fight in my head, of where it's just like, I want to be able, like, the very thing that I want, the very thing that, like, no joke, every single time I see repeating numbers, but for, like, 1111, I've wished on 1111 since I was in single digits, like 9 years old, 8 years old. I've always wished to be able to connect to people authentically, and to truly feel seen, and to truly feel heard, and not feel shame about it, not feel insecure as like, oh, if I say this, or if I'm like too open, am I going to be viewed as weird? How is this going to affect my image? How, like, there are people's opinions of me. And on one hand, I don't care about people's opinions, but at the same time, it's because I care about you guys so much, and like, I know some would probably argue that it's like sad of the level of emotional attachment that I have to you guys, but you guys really do mean the world to me. And so everything that I put out, I overthink to death. Like, I've recorded so many videos. I easily would be like in triple digits of the amount of videos I've had I would have uploaded if I just wasn't in my head. I always am constantly trying, because I can see all the things I can improve on, and because I'm just so overtly critical of myself, I always hold myself back, and I will pull down something and be like, nope, that's too much. It's too much. You don't want to have that, you know? Like with this video, I feel like I'm just going to be like I feel like this video is going to like bring people down, and that's really not my intention. Like, really my goal with this video is just to be as open as possible and hopefully be able to relate to you guys too. Like, that's part of the reason why I care so much about you guys, and you guys mean the world to me, is because it's like, you guys are like truly, I do view you guys like a close family friend, or a close, I mix that up, like a really close friend, or like family in some way, because it's like, I don't, because it's like, you guys are the first people in my life that I've been able to just communicate with and just have it be about each other's personalities. It's nothing deeper than that, right? Anytime that we email each other, or we talk to each other in the YouTube comments, we're having a conversation, not because we're like coworkers, not because of appearances, not because of like, and there's not because I'm paying you to be my therapist, right? You guys are connecting with me and talking to me because you truly just see me. And so I guess because you guys mean so much to me, I just never want to let you guys down. And so everything that I post, I want it to really be of the value that I feel like you guys deserve. As dramatic as that sounds, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna just like cut it from there, right? Because like, I really don't want this to be like a sad video. I just wanted to like explain to you guys kind of just like what I've been going through mentally, because it's like, I promise to you guys, like, I know I've said this before, but I promise to you guys that like, YouTube really is something that I care about so much. And it's because of YouTube that I really started going to therapy. It's because of YouTube that made me start working on these parts of myself emotionally and mentally, so I can put myself out there and be more vulnerable with you guys. And I think the best way of being able to overcome this kind of stuff is just be able to like vocalize it, because once you can name it, once you can talk about it, you can take away its power. And that's kind of like my purpose of this, is to like make this video in hopes that someone can relate to it. And you know, if you can relate to it, just let me know in the comments. We can have a conversation about it. Like, how does it, like, what have you guys been going on? What's been going on with you guys, right? I would love to hear from you guys some more. I always have my email down below as well. But yeah, I promise to you guys, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. Even now, I think after this video, I'm going to like get back in the normal groove of weekly Taroscopes and stuff. And really, my approach now for now on this channel is to no longer overthink things and just put stuff out there that I enjoy, and trust in that you guys will see the real me and see my intentions on things and enjoy what I put out. And if you don't enjoy it, then I mean, it's like no pressure. If you don't like my content, then it's just gonna make me depressed. No, like, I always enjoy, I don't want people to feel forced to like watch all my videos and like really connect with me. I'm going on a tangent, you guys, but yeah, you guys mean the world to me. And so I just really wanted to make that clear in this video, and that is just like, I'm going through so many like mental hurdles that like I'm really working on really like accomplishing with myself, so that way I can connect with you guys more and really like working on myself, so I can hopefully inspire other people to work on themselves more and maybe give advice, or like they can take some of my experiences. You guys can take some of my approaches, and maybe that'll help with you as well, because I'm certainly not the know-all be-all when it comes to mental health. Like, I definitely am just kind of like getting my own bearings on it all. But yeah, but I love you guys so much. I promise you guys that I am definitely going to be going back on my routine, and you can hold me accountable for it too. Like, you know, you can send me an email. A couple of you have before. It's just like, hey Valka, where's like your latest video or something? I've always been like, there's always someone that's like, I think it's Dan, that says that he's looking forward to my relationship picker card, which I need to do. I meant to do that for Valentine's Day, but Yeah, but I'm gonna end this video so I stop going on a tangent, but I really do love you guys so much, and thank you for joining me on this. You guys mean the world to me, and it's because of you guys that makes it, that like pushes me even more than I already push myself of like bettering myself, and I really am so thankful for that. So I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to connect with you more. Bye.